Hey there, Cunha community. I know Wednesdays have been kind of interesting out on the road. I think I sent an email to that effect, but just be aware that on Wednesdays, all the high school kids show up at 8:40, and so since our kids show up at 8:30, everybody's on the road all at once, and there's a lot of delays. So please make sure you go early enough and watch that the buses, the Samtrans buses, are likely to be full. Something that's very important has come up that I think that all parents need to understand from Cunha. When the high school played its first home game a couple of weeks ago, an awful lot of middle schoolers came up there. And they weren't there to watch the game. They were there to run around and socialize, which is mostly fine. But what we had were huge numbers of middle schoolers getting in conflicts, egging each other on, trying to film those conflicts, trying to make fights happen. And there were fights that involved a high school student and a middle schooler, and it's just not acceptable. So the high school and the middle school, Half Moon Bay High School and Cunha, have decided as a rule that middle schoolers cannot come to the high school football games without a parent there. They need to be accompanied by a parent. We have to have some kind of accountability. We cannot have just a handful of teachers trying to supervise and run around after hundreds of kids out there on the lawns and trying to get between the buildings and do things they shouldn't be. We can't babysit the kids. So please, middle schoolers need to come up with an adult present. Okay, that's an important thing for everybody's safety. A little thing, a lot of students are showing up with smartwatches. You can see I don't have one. And they're using that to access social media, texting and so on. We consider that pretty much the same as a phone. Cunha's rule is no phones out, and smartwatches have to be the same way. You can get things that communicate with your child if you need to, that are not smart technology, but please leave those kinds of watches at home. And finally, the last thing, some good news for our 6th grade parents. We have changed the cost of outdoor ed to a voluntary donation. So we'd like all parents to pay what they can. We're going to try to sustain the program going forward, but we will not be turning people away because of cost. That will mean maybe more people will want to go, which means we'll have a waiting list if we hit our limit. We do have an absolute limit with the county for the outdoor education program. So register today and to get in on it, and then after that you may be on a waiting list. But great news. This should be an opportunity that everybody can access without having to worry about the cost. Have a great week, everyone.